The Browns, now have 3 confirmed head coach interviews. In the last 5 minutes, we have learned that Tommy Rees will officially interview for the Browns head coaching job on Thursday. We could dive into that while we talk about the next 2, but we do know their first interview that they have requested is with someone we've already mentioned, Todd Monken, who was here in 2019 as the Browns offensive coordinator. G, if this interview with Monken truly is a actual he could be our head coach and it wasn't some sort of 4D chess to force Harbaugh and all that stuff like some people suggested on Twitter, would you be in favor of Todd Monken becoming the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns? Do you like what he does, or do you think it would not be a good fit?
Again, we speed dating. I'm going to go on the first date to see what you're talking about. We're going to sit down to see if we have anything in common. And as long as we don't say anything crazy, you might make it to a second date. But it's only going to be coffee, though. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be sitting down eating no steaks with you at Morton's or nothing. We're going to be drinking this coffee, having a conversation about the weather and light stuff. I mean, Monken was here before. The thing that concerns me a bit is his personality type. It is, a lot of what was going on in Baltimore was based around whether people in the locker room like Todd Monken or whether or not he was a personality fit. Now, what's unquestionable is the fact that he knows offense. His teams in Georgia, they won back-to-back national championships. They did a really good job of dialing things up at Georgia. I think that under Monken, I thought Lamar Jackson threw the ball very well, and the passing game really elevated in terms of what they was doing offensively. So I like that, but comes to find out, him and Lamar Jackson didn't get along a lot, and it was a sticking point. So for me, it's like finding the right personality with the right mix of offensive mind, with the right mix of motivation. And so for me, I don't know. I would just have to be in the room and understand. I mean, I don't have a problem with them interviewing, but I don't know if I'm going to just jump out here and be like, I love it or I hate it. We'll figure out if he gets a second interview. But this screams to me preliminary interviews.
But by the way, Todd Monken looks way older than John Harbaugh, even though he's 5 years younger.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'll give you a quick comment. So in 2019, he was the OC here in Cleveland. And I was in the preseason working TV for the Browns, and so I got to be part of the the production meetings. And so I just remember we had a production meeting with Monken one day, and the guy he's like a lump on a log, like his personality. I'm sure he's a brilliant guy, and he is. He's a very smart guy, good coach, whatever. But like to be a head coach, I didn't get the vibe from him that he's really going to be motivating guys to go out there and run through a wall for him.
Yeah, it does. That tells me really just cements what I was already thinking, that he's not the right guy. I mean, he's been coaching forever. He's only been a head coach for 2 years at was it Southern Miss or something? Yeah. And that was like over a decade ago. Like, your first time head coaching gig at 60, I guess it's possible you could have success that way, but
and do you
I don't know.
And do you want to?
Didn't Bruce Arians get his job and went to the Super Bowl in his 60s? His first head job in Arizona?
Yeah.
Bruce Arians, people were talking about him being a head coach, I feel like, for a while.
Because Pittsburgh kept shutting him.
Yeah. But Monken, who's talking about him being a head coach? Like, he's not getting a lot of buzz.
I think Bull was right.
Not that should matter, though.
It's one example I thought of.
Yeah. The Browns are going to have to go in a different direction than that personality type. Like, I'm not saying that he's not a smart individual or offense, but could you really do this when you had Kevin Stefanski, right?
Like a blah personality
the blah personality, I really think you got to infuse some different energy. And if I really thought that they was going to hire him, I don't think that he would be the first guy up. The way I look at the way I go about looking at interviewing, when you look at it interviewing from like a corporate standpoint, you bringing in people to get a nice pool of people to see if you asking the right questions, to kind of get your feet wet in vetting people. And then as you continue to go along, usually, generally speaking, when you're looking for corporate people or guys, or you're a headhunter, you're trying to find a list of traits that you want, but you got to also get your questions together. So,
well, Mike said Kevin Stefanski's the hot candidate because he's getting the first interview. And I agree with G. Bush. Usually the guys you interview first are not the guys likely to get the job.
Well, Stefanski, depending on which place he went, is not the Giants' first interview, is not the Titans' first interview, and I'm not sure about.
I thought he was with the Giants last night.
Yeah, but they already interviewed somebody.
Who?
They had McCarthy lined up after, and they already interviewed. Was it Raheem Morris?
Oh, really?
Morris was technically the first guy.
Bull, what do you think about that?
And also, real quick,
Yeah.
while we're talking offensive coordinators, it just came out. Diana Rossini just tweeted the Browns are interviewing the Bengals offensive coordinator, both Dan Pritchard, for their head coaching job.
Pitcher.
What do you think of Dan Pitcher?
I mean,
He's not the coordinator.
he doesn't call the plays for the Bengals offense. That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
He might be a good leader. I know he has. He was the Bengals quarterback coach forever, and then when Brian Callahan got the head coaching job in Tennessee, they promoted him. He had been the quarterback coach, so obviously he's got a good relationship with Joe Burrow, which is something that's a positive. But
Right.
I mean, who knows? I don't know if he's
we don't
head coach material.
again.
It's so hard to say with all these guys. Tommy Reese has been in the NFL for 1 year. I'm not making him the head coach.
Yeah, I don't think that's an option for him. Look, it's a good opportunity for Tommy to interview for the job.
Yep.
And it's like one of those things, hey, learn how to interview, learn what they ask and different things.
Right.
And sometimes, to be honest with you, these people do people a solid. You may have a relationship with a person
or an agent,
and you say, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do you a solid. We're gonna bring you in. We'll interview you, and then get your name in the pool of people that can be considered a year or two down the line. Because they'll say he interviewed for this job, Here's what he's done, and now your name is kind of in the hopper, so to speak. But it's rare for you to just jump off the porch and be like, yeah, I'm him. Yeah, I got a job after no. And Tommy Reese just started calling plays in 5 games.
I don't love the idea of hiring coach who's been in the NFL for 1 year and has called play. Even the called plays, I don't know. I just don't see him being ready to be a head coach.
And then I always got to look at it from this lens, and I continue to look at it from this lens. Andrew Berry don't got 3 years to be chilling and seeing if he's going to have the opportunity to pick one coach, right? And you got one chance. That's it.
Yeah.
So you better make it work. So why would you risk that on guys who might be it? Nah, I got to go with something stronger than that.